This is die cut sheaths, and if I've got a lot of the same knives, I'll die cut them. If I got one or two knives, I won't have a die made. I'll hand cut them off a pattern, like this. And they've been split down, gouged in the middle where they'll fold, and I sew the belt loop on before I make the sheath, and you'll see how it's been gouged out and the threads are relieved below the surface.
Yeah.
They don't wear out. If you don't do this, after a couple of months of using it, there's no thread left. The guard wears them off. And we're gonna soak that cold water probably do. I usually use hot water. Let me go run a little hot water on it. Lucille. What, baby? The hot water just lets me mold it to the knife. I learned to make sheaths in Bob Dozier shop. And what you see me do here is pretty much what he done. He didn't die cut, he hand cut everything. But he made his sheaths basically the same way I'm doing this one. And see how it's molded inside to fit?
Yeah.
Then I'm going to take a piece of shoe bend. This is shoe sole material. It's really too hard to cut with a knife, so I cut it on a bandsaw. We're going to make a straight line right here. Never use a ballpoint pen on your leather. It's not waterproof, and later, if your leather gets a little damp, it gets all over everything in the shop. It gets over the other leather, and it marks everything. The permanent marker doesn't ever dissolve with water anymore. And it's already dry, see there? The ballpoint pen will still be rubbing all over the place.
Yeah.
And I see guys use them, Now I'm going to imagine how this fits inside the sheath. Now I wouldn't do this but one time if I'm making 30 knives, 20 sheaths, 10 sheaths, because I'll make one and I'll make a pattern. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit out here. And this is the welt. I'll make it a little bit heavier right here. I'm not an artist. Now, I'm going to cut this off. We don't need that. fitted. Take all that old finish off so the glue will stick good. Too deep. We'll try that. I want to take an edger and round that corner. So it'll close this up right here. Yeah. Put that back in. And the same marks I molded it to. Try to see where I'm at. Now I'm going to sharpen this little knife a little bit. Yeah. That's what I'm working. When you get old, you want to sit down a lot.
I don't blame you.
We're going to put a little, oh, my back bothers me a lot now. a half a pint of glue on your workbench, you'll learn to close them off. Because you will turn one over sooner or later.
Yeah.
This ought to be getting dry. I got a sheath at the shop. That tag handle knife that Goldie gave me. Mom would pick it up and take it back to her. I'll move it a little bit. That's why I do it before the glue sets up totally hard. I can move it. That better. Now, I'm going to trim it up. Put a little reference mark right here so I know where the end of everything is. And I'm gonna help myself so straight by doing this. I'll make a little mark here. Tells me where all my leather is when I start sewing. Okay. We're going to sew it. Usually I let it dry a little bit longer, but I won't today. Now I'm going to check my bobbin thread to be sure. I may not have enough to sew it, but I think I do. This old sewing machine was built in the late 40s, middle 40s. I'm going to brush it over this a little bit. Just a little. Now, almost got a sheath. Now we're going to take this number 4 edger. We're going to edge these corners. The most important thing is to give it a name, so we'll know what to call it. We're going to call it Dozier Made. See if it even fits.
Now you're burnishing it with, what is that?
That's a slicker.
A slicker.
We'll pull it in out a few times to help shape it and wear things in. Here it's popping in. It'll be real good after we dip it. It'll get a little bigger inside. Because it'll swell up. And that's a handcrafted sheath.